3, 2, 1. We are live. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Let us share this. Good morning, Instagrammers. You guys rock too. But I'm just trying to work out what rocks more, Facebook or Instagram. They've both got their merits, you know. They're both fun tools that we can play with and share with the world. Right, let me share this in 2 different places, and then we are good to go. First of all, I will share this on my public Facebook page, and then I'm going to share this in the My 365 private group. It's private, but anyone can join. Anyone can join what I believe to be one of the most positive communities in the world. Right, here we go. Let's share this in one other place. And we can get on to and get stuck into day 4, Thursday, on Random Acts of Kindness Week. And I know for many people, we like to turn things on their head. Who likes to turn things on their head? I love people who turn things on their head. What about you? People, and that's why the world is so great, because people decided to turn things on their head. Whether it was, I don't know, Martin Luther King, whether it was Steve Jobs, whether it was whoever it was, that people who thought, hang on, I'm going to turn this on their head. And what's really evident is whenever people turn things on their head, most people will go, what are you doing? Don't turn it on its head. Keep it as it is. Because we seem to love the status quo. But many of you know that, by the way, there's a band called Status Quo. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Status Quo. Let's bring this on here for the Instagrammers so they get to see this a little bit closer. Most of you have seen this, but this is the journey that we're on. Most people live in an ordinary world. They're just a status quo, living in 98% of the way that most people are living. And then there's a call to adventure, and they often resist it. And that's what many of you do when you're called to something. Then I resist it, until someone comes along, a mentor or some sort of coach. This journey is what pretty much every film that you've ever seen in your entire life has followed, whether it's been The Wizard of Oz, Rocky. A great example is Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. There's Frodo, called to adventure, gets Gandalf to come along. He goes on a departure. He crosses over into new ventures, new places. Then he has trials and tribulations. He approaches something. He's beaten. Then he's reborn. He gets this power. He takes on the beast. He wins. He returns home with a new life, with a new resolution at a new level, but back to the status quo. But back to the status quo with a new way of moving, a new way of thinking. This is the journey that we're on, my friends. Good morning, everyone. If you haven't shared this, please share this. Let's get this information out into the world, because we're looking at random acts of kindness. And I know many of you probably thought, oh, that's nice. That's going to be really pretty. Let's be kind and give to people who need help. Yes, please do that. But you're only paying what I believe lip service, because the only way we will really change the world is to change our world. And I don't know how many of you agree with that, or at least there's got to be more of a balance between changing the world and changing you. Now, how many of you want to change the world in some way? Put your hand up if you want to change the world. If you want to make this world a better place, thank you very much for all of you that have shared this. Really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It might just be one person that watches this and goes, wow, this is incredible. How many of you want to change the world? Anyone? You want to change this? Yes, I want to change the world. So then ask yourself, well, how do I do that? And this is where a lot of people, because one of the ideas that you've sold it, you subscribe to it every single day. You know what? You want to know what it is? I don't know how many of you remember the TV program called Kenny Everett, but you have been sold this idea, right? I am not good enough. So you almost like go around with a big banner around you, which no one else can really see, but you take it with you wherever you go, going, I'm not good enough. Everywhere you go, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not quite good enough just the way that I am. I'm not quite good enough. I'm not quite right the way that I am, you know, but if I do this, then I can temporarily feel good. If I get married, if I go to university, if I pass my exams, if I pass my driving test, if I have kids, if I have a good job, then I could feel quite good enough, right? That's the world that we live in. You have subscribed to that world. And if you haven't, great, or if you're not paying subscription anymore because you've decided there's a better way, and the best way is for you to start being kind to yourself. So when we look at what the word kind means, what many of you now know, friendly, generous, and considerate. So hopefully you guys feel that Pete Cohen is generous, he's kind, he's considerate. To every single one of you that's watching this right now, hi, Pete Cohen, is he kind? Is he considerate? Is he friendly? Is he generous? Absolutely. But does he do that for himself? Because the ultimate act of kindness is to make yourself proud, to be proud of who you are. Does anyone know what that word means? Word of the day alert, word of the day alert, proud. What does it mean? I wrote down the word today and I thought, I don't know what it means. What does it mean? Anyone know what it means? Here you go. You're going to learn something today. It means when you're proud, you are, it's self-respect. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. Self-respect and the feeling of accomplishment. Word of the day, accomplishment as well. What does that mean? No, come on, we'll go down a rabbit hole here. You know that song? You can listen to it straight after this broadcast by M People. What have you done today to make yourself feel proud? We think, what is it? Because for so many of you, it's random. You might show up here every day, but when it comes to really getting involved in this journey and understanding that this journey to greatness, and this is my we're going to look at some real interesting things in a moment here because I want to get some specifics, but you should be proud of yourself for showing up here this morning. But you could be prouder of yourself by taking notes. You could be prouder of yourself by fully engaging right now in what I'm saying. But most of you won't be fully engaging because your mind is taking you somewhere else. By the way, My 365 podcasts, if you haven't listened to our podcasts, they are amazing. Here is post it here on Instagram. Go to my365.me, M-E-M-I, my365.me. Check out our podcasts. Amazing stories. You have to feed your brain. If you don't feed your brain, and this is such an important part of today, because what we're going to look at is what are the kindest things that you could do for yourself? And do you think that if you start doing kind things to you, that you start to feel more proud about who you are, that it creates a wave of change around you? That is one of the reasons why My 365 is so powerful, because other people are empowered by other people who are empowered themselves by what they do every day, and in many cases, where they're going. So I personally challenge all of you to stand up again and say, you can stand up right now if you want, it's up to you. I know that would be a bit weird, but to where are you going? What goals and dreams and ambitions have you got? Because we need to look at this. But when we look at what are the kindest things that you could do for yourself, and I believe the world, it's to become an inspirational person. Now, what does that mean? It means you breathe life into your life. You breathe positivity. You breathe happiness into your life as often as you can. This is of the kindest things that you could do. One of the other kindest things that you could do is to dream. Is to dream and think about it. Dreaming is free. It doesn't cost you anything to dream of a better life. It doesn't cost you anything, but because it's free, most people don't value it. Most people don't do it. And this is it, guys. This is the big one for the day. Most of you have heard this before, but it doesn't matter. I'll say it again. I will say this again. What is the nature of your mind? We all have a mind, right? What does your mind do? Don't mind me. Don't mind me. What does your mind do? Hi. What does your mind do? Sorry? Didn't quite catch that. Sorry? So there you go. So some of you know the answer that I was going to give because you've heard this before. Now you say sabotage. It doesn't really sabotage you. It just plays tricks on you. Have you ever been walking down the street and you think someone's behind you and there's no one there? Have you ever tried to go to sleep at night and your mind... If you look at a statue of the Buddha, you can see the Buddha, in most cases, is smiling. Everyone smile for me right now. Think about the kindest things you can do. Just smile. And feel depressed. Go on. Feel tired, feel low, feel anxious, feel sad. Go on. Isn't that amazing that you've been given this gift to smile? Your mind plays tricks on you. I saw it this morning. I was practicing my yoga. My mind was playing, it was racing, playing tricks on me, taking me somewhere away from where I wanted to be. So where do you want to be right now? If you want to conquer your mind, and one of the kindest things that you will ever do for yourself, ever in your whole life, is to find humor in what you think. Find humor in what you think. So these are the two key points for the day, right? Can you be proud of yourself? What can you do to demonstrate that you're being proud? That a feeling of accomplishment. What's the best accomplishment you could ever do? Find humor in yourself. Be someone who inspires yourself. How many of you inspire yourself? And what could you do today? What could you do today to make yourself feel proud? That's not really how the song goes. What have you done today? I dare you to listen to the song afterwards, right? It's a great song, and she means it, the woman who is singing it. What have you done today? And what is the best thing you could do? Find humor in yourself. Find a sense of joy. Find a sense of peace and love in yourself. Because to be kind is to appreciate you. And then you'll find the more you do this, the bigger difference you just make with everyone that you come into contact with, often with saying nothing. And what did we say yesterday? Who remembers? Yes. Say yes. Say no. Notice how you feel. I ask you, let's get involved. Let's immerse ourselves in feeding our brain. The best way to trick our minds is to trick our mind and put our minds where we want to go. Why? We know that if we go there, the first few steps of doing something can be quite difficult because the brain thinks, oh, let's just stay where we're comfortable. So your brain thinks that doing yoga, or your mind does, doing meditation, eating well, whatever it is, listening to a podcast, showing up here, making notes, there's a part of your mind that plays a trick on you that goes, no, don't do that because it's going to be hard work to do it. But you know that just when you get started, that's where everything starts to flow. The kindness starts to flow. The appreciation starts to flow. So what is it that you need to do, guys? We just need to get started. Make yourself feel proud because you know how much better you feel for doing something you didn't feel like doing. But most of you know this when it comes to My 365, what has not feeling like anything got to do with it? What has it got to do with it? Hey? Now, how many of you are on this challenge right now to go to the summit? I'd love to know how you're getting on tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's summaries of the week, every single one of you. Don't pay lip service to what we're doing. This is serious, and there are warriors coming out of My 365. People who were warriors who've become warriors by ultimately changing their life. Go and have a listen to our podcast. If you've got an iPhone, you can subscribe to, there's an app on here called Podcasts. I'm going to say goodbye to all of you on Instagram. I'm going to make a 1-minute summary, but I'm actually going to do that summary in Instagram stories. So I'm going to do this slightly differently. Take care, guys. Much love to all. Thank you. Okay, so that'll be available for 24 hours. If you go See, there is an app. I don't know how well you can see this. It's called Podcast. There's one of the podcasts I've been listening to. There it is. If you have an iPhone, there should be no excuse. Look, the My 365 podcast, 94 podcasts, 94. Thank you, Casey. 94. How many of you have listened to every single one of those and made notes? We're nearing our 100th episode. What happens if the 100th episode was just in time for the summit? That would be awesome, right? Okay, who's ready for the summary? We're going to do this. This is going to be a bit easier for me. We're going here. We're going, I think this is actually only 30 seconds, maybe even less. Who knows? We're going hands-free. Let's turn the camera around. Ready? Good morning, everyone. This is day 4 of the Random Act of Kindness week. I only have 20 seconds, so what can I say? It's time for us to get kind. It's time for us to show ourselves love and respect and say yes to life, because your life is worth living. Guys, there we go. That was a very quick summary of the Random Act of Kindness week. Wow, let's go back. Guys, have a fantastic day. Take a few moments, right? Just take a few moments just to write a sentence or 2 sentences out. What have you just got out of this? What's your biggest takeaway from what Pete Cohen has just shared with you? I have so much respect for every single one of you. And I know that you can do more and be more, but that really is up to you. So as far as the kindest things you can do, be a source of inspiration to yourself. Practice delayed gratification. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Dream where you want to be. I asked all of our elite members to start journaling about themselves, maybe 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years in the future, doing it every single day. Now, some of you haven't done it. That's okay. You can take the feeling of, oh, I'm not good enough, because you take that with you everywhere, and start realizing, what am I going to do about that right now? Have a great day. Thank you for watching. If you listen to our podcasts, please share them, make comment, because it really does make a difference. People will listen to you, especially when you are practicing what I am preaching. Take care. All the best. Much love.